Everybody, welcome. You're hanging out with Ben. This is the Hardcore Punk Project here on the X 92.5 FM in Kamloops. Let the World Burn is a five-song EP showcasing first new material in 29 years. Yes, I'm talking about the band Vio-lence. This EP delivers on the classic Vio-lence sound, and it's to be released March 4th on Metal Blade Records. Today, I have iconic vocalist Sean Killian with me. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
First off, you okay with the teen interviewing you?
Yeah.
Okay. First off, why did you decide to light the fire under Vio-lence after so many years?
I think it was, after my surgery, I was laying in bed kind of thinking about the Killing on Command benefit show, and Phil had thrown a golf tournament, which a lot of people participated in and helped raise money, for me and for medical bills and my kids, so their lives would be normal. As I'm laying there after my surgery in the hospital, I'm thinking to myself, I got to do something to repay people for what they did, but I wouldn't know what to do because there were so many people involved. And so I just figured somehow, some way I'm going to get on stage and I'm going to do some Vio-lence music. And at the time, Phil was in Machine Head, so it wasn't like I was really thinking much about him until, I recovered from everything, and my surgery was March 26th, 2018, and then I called him, or I sent him a text to January of 2019 saying, hey, let's do a show. I want to get on stage, and while you're not hired by somebody else, let's do this. And so we got the guys together and booked this show for April 13th and 14th, 2019. So about a year after my surgery, a little more than a year after my surgery.
All right. Who all is in the current lineup?
So right now we have Perry Strickland playing the drums, original drummer. We have myself and Phil Demmel on guitar, Bobby Gustafson on guitar, former Overkill, and Christian Oldie Wolbers on bass, and he's former Fear Factory.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. In your opinion, is metal still considered to be underground?
Metal's not underground. I mean, if you're filling stadiums and people are out filling stadiums that play heavy metal, like Megadeth, they started from that 80s thrash scene. I wouldn't consider it underground. As Vio-lence, yeah, we're a little underground, kind of more of it's kind of weird because it's not like we're on all the big festivals and doing all this stuff. We just kind of play shows when we want to, and if it's right for us, and then just our sound itself is not really mainstream. I wouldn't consider it mainstream.
Right. Okay.
More like a cult.
Yeah. Do you think metal isn't recognized as much as other types of music like pop because it's too complex, or not everyone get it?
Not everyone. Here's the thing with metal that I see that's different than all other types of music is that you listen to Black Sabbath, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was some of that stuff was recorded in the late 60s, early 70s, and so and Judas Priest and all the greats, and Metallica was 82, and so it kind of, and then you have all these bands today, Lamb of God and Behemoth, and Behemoth started back in the 90s, but they're still really relevant today. I think they're more relevant today than ever. But you have a fan base that will still listen to the metal that was made in the 70s and listen to the metal that's made today, as well as the 80s, 90s, 2000. And pop music and the other genres of music, it's kind of, it's a fad where, someone gets a hit song and they get 10 million or 20 million views. And then, tomorrow there's the next week they're on to something else, where metal kind of sticks with its fans. Its fans stick with it, actually.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, why do you think we never see anyone on TikTok trying to dance to a metal song? Too hard to keep up?
Because they're lame, dude. How could you not dance?
Exactly.
How could you not dance to a metal song? My daughter does a bunch of TikToks. Yeah, she I'm gonna have to. She thinks heavy metal rots your brain. So I don't think you'll ever see her dancing to it on TikTok to a metal song. And she's a
Uh,
dancer.
okay. Now, I quote you, the lyrics are written freely with no restrictions and without compromise, while the vocal patterns are typically unusual and delivered with a multitude of emotions. Can you explain this in a bit more detail, please? Like, what do you mean by no restrictions and without compromise?
So when we did Nothing to Gain, we had a lot of outside influences because that's right when grunge was coming in and all the labels started putting pressure on their metal bands. We felt it. We felt it. Bands like Exodus and other bands felt it, and so it kind of influenced the way you thought. Going into the whole process of writing an album, recording an album. And so that's kind of why I left the music industry back then. And now it's like, we're with the right people. Metal Blade Records, they've been with it since thrash metal since the beginning. Brian has, and so it's like they're a little bit. They allow us the freedom, to be aggressive and not worry about offending someone or, oh, is that too gruesome? Because Torture Tactics got pulled off oppressing the masses because of the lyrics and then it was kind of upsetting, but now it's like we have freedom to do what we want. So it's when I write lyrics, I'm not worried about what other people think as much as I am the content and the impact and the images I could paint in the listener's head, because like if you listen, you've seen the Flesh from Bone lyrical video.
No, I haven't yet.
You haven't, you have to check it out.
Yeah,
But
I definitely will.
so the lyrics are pumping across there, and the goal is to try to get when I wrote the lyrics for this EP was to get the people who read the lyrics to be able to paint a picture in their mind, because how it is when you read a book.
Yep.
You kind of paint that scene in your head that the author's trying to present to you, and maybe it's not the same thing he was seeing, but you see something that fits what what you're reading, fits what you're seeing in your mind because it's your personal thing, your personal experience, and that's kind of what I wanted to add the lyrics.
Absolutely. All right. Now, let's get into the EP.
Mm-hmm.
The first song is Flesh from the Bone. That bass intro just grabbed me right away. Is this your way of saying, hey, we're back, listen up?
Yeah, that's the first song we wrote actually was Flesh from Bone, and that's what Phil put that, because when we wrote it, it was just Phil and Perry and I in the room, and then Phil envisioned that bass solo, and then when we were able to get Christian to come up and play the song with us, it just came together exactly how Phil I think was hoping for it to sound, and it's a cool bass riff, yeah. And Christian plays it well. He just got great tone and the way he slaps his strings, and it's really cool riff.
Yep. I understand you've been through the COVID nightmare.
Yeah, I had it back August. I think it was like the 9th or 10th. I got tested positive and spent a couple of weeks at home dealing with it. And the third week, I started feeling really bad and having a hard time breathing. So I went into the hospital and I spent about 7 days there as they were giving me antibiotics and steroids and stuff. I was breathing fine after about 4 days, but I had to go in there because I was having a hard time, just catching my breath. It seemed really hard time, and so I just was like, this is a little bit too much. I can't breathe good. The first couple of weeks, it was all aches and pains, and not being able to sleep, and your nose constantly running, and all that kind of stuff. But that third week kicked my ass, so that's why I went to the hospital. And then it was 3 weeks after that, man, I was fine.
All right. Did COVID affect your vocals at all?
No, I mean, we had to cancel some shows because I had it. And then after I got tested negative and I was out of the hospital, it still took me time to recover. So there was a few shows we tried to hang on to, but there was no way I could have gone on stage and performed and been able to move around and enjoy myself, because I just was having a hard time catching my breath.
I see. Now,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of vocals, I have to mention this because I think it's cool. Your vocals are kind of unique because it sounds like you're sneering a little bit. Is that
Yeah,
just
I
what
mean, I try to give them attitude,
is that that's just what comes naturally?
yeah, when it's funny too, because Titan or Trident Studios, excuse me, he recorded the record and with us, and he kept pushing me to get, oh no, that's that part you got to do. It's got to have more anger, more emotion, more of that, pissed off, sound, and so he was pushing me along the way to really get that across. And when he would play stuff back where I did it with some emotion and that sneer you're talking about,
Mhm.
and if maybe I did record the line before and it didn't have that, you could totally hear the difference. So
Mm.
I credit Juan in getting that out of me.
All right. Okay. How many fans do you think read the lyrics?
I would hope all of them, because this band is about the lyrics,
Hmm.
not just the music. And what's funny is when we play live, it's like that first four rows of people, they know the lyrics and they recite them back at me. And then, I have screwed up a couple times, and they look at me like they know when I mess up. If I miss a word, yeah, they look right at you like you just messed up. But so that's fun. But I like the fans that read the lyrics with this band, because this band, it's all part of the whole the package.
Yep. Okay. Is your intent for your listeners to open their minds to reality, possibly things going around them, perhaps?
I would say it's it's about the big picture. Too many
Hmm.
people get caught up in their daily thing, and it's like they spend all their time choosing sides as opposed to like really checking out stuff, information, and making their own decisions anymore, it seems like. And so Let the World Burn is kind of like that cataclysmic thing where um, all your worries and anything that you are, and anything that was before you and all of that could just be wiped out, and no one would ever remember you or your trivial problems or your fears, or even the great things like you know uh, big cities and great statues and the pyramids. They'd all be gone,
Hmm.
right? And then who's gonna even know you were here?
Yep.
So it's like kind of that attitude.
Hmm. What's two things on your bucket list?
Two things on my bucket list. Oh man, um, I would like to. I don't know. I mean, what could I think of? Man, that's a good question. Bucket. I never thought of my bucket list, to tell you the truth. Um, I'd like to see Rome. You know, I love history, and I love Roman history. And during that time, that 2,000 years, they were a society. And then I would also like to. I'd like to go up in space. That would be awesome.
Ah,
Maybe
nice.
they'll have commercial space. I'm sure you will travel to space commercially in your lifetime. I'm hoping that it happens soon so I can do the same.
I hope so too. Track two is Screaming Always. I'm digging the
Mhm.
slowdown towards the middle part. It just makes it a little bit heavier and it's perfect.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Did you like the that
Yeah,
break?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That really kind of grabs you there.
Hmm.
Phil wanted to shorten that part, but I thought, it's a good riff. It's a cool little, section, and it should stay the way it is. And I think it's good that way. And then breaking it down to that, that down
Uh-huh.
picking. Yeah, that's a cool change. And the drums kick in, and then the vocals jump in. I really dig that section.
Hmm.
And the whole title of that song is based on the fact that, any somewhere in the world right now while we're talking, someone's screaming. So people are screaming always on this planet. You know?
Where's the weirdest place that you practice your vocals during the pandemic?
Well, we didn't really. I mean, we were writing a lot, so I wasn't practicing like to go play a show or anything. So I was just trying to practice, throw some tracks down so I can record a rhythm over the music that we were writing, so I can listen back to it and critique it. But that would be the most unusual place because we just kept going to practice. I mean, we were locking ourselves down.
Mm-hmm. I remember another person I interviewed, Mark from Epica. He said that he practiced his vocals in a walk-in closet.
Oh, cool. He must have a nice setup too. I think they probably do pretty well getting sponsors and everything. I have my Zoom 24, which is not high quality at the best.
Yeah, all right. If you could collaborate with any female artist, who would it be and why?
That would be probably Julie Christmas. She's on this what is that, the Mariner record with one of our other Metal Blade bandmates. Oh man, Cult of Luna.
Hey, I think I played them once or twice.
Yeah, so they did a special EP with Julie Christmas, and if you listen to it, it's called Mariner. She's a real screamer, and I just dig her vocals and her emotion. So I would have to say her for sure. But
yeah,
if you haven't heard it, check it out.
I absolutely will now that you mention it because I've played Cult of Luna once or twice on my show before.
Right on.
Any planned tours?
We're not like the big long touring band, so we usually pick Friday, Saturday shows here and there where we can afford. We get a good price to play, and then we can fly there, play a show here. Like our last two shows, we did Atlanta Friday, and we did Chicago on a Saturday, and then flew home Sunday. So, and they were good shows. It was packed, and financially for the band, it made sense. And so that's kind of how we operate. And we do have 5 shows coming up with Coroner. We'll be in Chicago, Boston, I think Brooklyn, definitely New York, but Brooklyn, I think it is, and Philly, and then we play the Maryland Death Fest in Maryland.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We're on the Oblivion Access Tour or festival too in San Antonio, Texas, that Friday before we go to Chicago.
All right.
We have a Hemp Fest too coming up the week before.
Nice.
We don't know who the headliner is. They haven't told us, but they said it's someone big, so we'll see who it is.
You know what the best part of being a radio host is?
What is it?
It's getting to listen to the music early before it's released.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When I listened to Upon Their Cross for the first time, I looked over to my dog, and he was just sitting there like a bobblehead, you know?
Uh-huh.
Actually, he wasn't doing that. He was just staring at me. I think he's right over there, actually. Anyways, some of those riffs will just get you going, I guess.
Yeah, we play that song live. We play it in Atlanta, Chicago, and we also played it in Fresno, California. And we got a good response. The crowd, it does stir up the pit, you know.
Yep. What can you tell us about this song?
This song is kind of about how the media and social media and all that stuff, they take figures and they put them up on this cross, and then they rally around it, and it's kind of weird whether it's in a good way or in a bad way or whatever. But that seems to be the way with social media and all this information flow people tend to do. And so I wrote the song basically saying, upon their cross. So, and they are the people that are controlling us, our governments and everything else. And they take symbols and they hang them up on. You're in Canada?
Yes.
Yeah. So, the whole mandate and the crazy
truckers.
prime minister, the truckers, they're just put up there for people to worship and pick sides for. And, that's kind of how that song has come about,
Yep.
You'll see when you read the lyrics.
Yeah.
You read the lyrics, right?
I can't. I didn't get the lyrics.
No, but when it comes out, you'll get the lyrics.
Yes, I definitely will.
Yeah.
Destiny, is it predetermined or do we make our own?
Destiny is, I believe we make our own. I believe we make our own because if we're faced with something, we handle it with our own choices, our own decision. We make our own decisions, So it's like when I was sick, with my liver problem back when I was sick,
Yeah.
The nurses kept trying to push antidepressants on me and things. Well, most people this and most people think that, and they're afraid of, and it's just like, well, that ain't me, and I'm not like that, and I don't want your depressants. And they're like, well, you're welcome to them. It's just like, look, I have no control over what's going to happen to me, so I am not going to sit here and trip out. I'm just going to, because if I do go out, I'm not going to go out in fear. So you might be faced with something that you could maybe consider destiny, but how you deal with it is in your control.
Yep, I got it. What have you learned about life from a kid?
From a kid?
Yes.
Well, I got two of them. My son's 18 and my daughter's 14. He's mellow and he enjoys what he does, and he goes out and works hard, and he plays ice hockey, and he does what he has to. My daughter, she's very she dances, and she's very, very competitive, but she's also very humbled. She cheers on her competitors, where my son wants to smash them, and so it's just like, what I learned is you got to take it both ways, right? You can't be extremely on one side like my daughter is, or you can't be like my son is. You got to be like right in that middle area, or try to stay there, and it's not easy. It's hard, but
Yep.
That's what I've learned from my two kids.
Okay. Fourth track is Gato Negro, Spanish black cat. It's arranged like cat black.
That's Spanish language.
I just thought it was a little bit strange because it's supposed to mean black cat, but it's arranged like cat black.
Because that's how Spanish is spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Casa de Grande, big house.
Yeah. Why did you choose a Spanish title?
Well, my inspiration for the lyrics for that song was Edgar Allan Poe's Black Cat, but I didn't want to. I just thought Gato Negro. We have a lot of fans all over the world, and that just title, I think, stands out on its own, and it sounds better than Black Cat.
Yeah, definitely. I also like the speed up.
Oh, in Gato Negro?
Yeah, when it gets faster.
Yeah. It's got that thrash sound and that crunchy, grindy sound too,
Yep. What is the strangest object you have fallen in love with?
Strangest object I've fallen in love with? I really liked my Nova, my 65 Nova I used to have, but I had to sell it when the recession hit out here in 2006. I work in the home building industry, so the home building industry took a dive and lost my bonus and gas card and all that other stuff. So I had to liquidate some of my assets, and my 65 Nova was one. And it was fast, and it was a race car, basically. The whole front was fiberglass, and yeah. So, and it looked cool. But now I have an Impala, and I love that. But I like the Nova better. I've got a 63 Impala in the garage.
Nice. My dog is named Apollo.
Impala.
I misheard. Microphone's no good.
Apollo's a good name.
If you
mine's Pepita.
Ah.
It's Spanish for pumpkin seed.
Let's see. If you had 1 minute to address all the world leaders, what would you say and why?
I would say you got about 10 seconds and that bomb's going off. We're going to start over. We need to start over, period. I think that's most world governments.
I remember I asked someone else this, Nick from Lucifer, and he just said, I would say, fuck off.
Yeah, I would want to do what I could to get rid of them all because they're all so damn corrupt.
I agree. And final song on the album is Let the World Burn.
Uh-huh.
And you really sound like you want the world to burn.
Yeah. All right. You want to listen to it and be convinced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this inspired by your true feelings?
So for me, I'm not really afraid of dying. It's not something I even would be. I mean, I wouldn't want my head cut off by some terrorist, but you're going to die. That's just going to happen, period.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have a choice of when it happens. And so it's like, yeah, if the world burned today, it probably wouldn't be such a bad thing for the world itself. I mean, there's been extinction events in the past, and there's going to be more in the future, and that's just the way it is. And today would be a good day.
Okay.
Of course, now I've lived longer than you, so you're probably like, no, I don't think so, man.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, true.
If you could put something in a time capsule that would not be opened for 30 years, what would it be and why?
Something I would put in a time capsule. I would probably go to an antique store and maybe buy some items, that span over maybe a few hundred years, and then I would put those in there to demonstrate how time changes over many years, and as a reminder, I think, to people, and my middle finger.
I might put eternal nightmare in there.
Right on.
Because, photophobia sounds cool now. Just imagine how people think it would sound 30 years from now.
Yeah, well, here we are, dude. Right?
Yeah.
88, we released that record. It's, it's been a while, and people still go, holy shit, when they hear it,
Yeah.
So, yeah, they'd be going, holy shit then.
Yeah. Now, this is the last question that I ask all the artists I've interviewed, so 70 or 80, something like that.
Right.
Will you accept a challenge from me?
Will I accept a challenge from you? Man. Sure.
Okay. Now, the challenge, since you're from the Bay Area, is to take a song from this album and film a music video at Valencourt Fountain.
Where's that?
It's somewhere in the Bay Area.
They filmed a video there?
Yeah, it's admittedly a bit of an eyesore, but it would make a great backdrop.
Okay. I'll check it out. I'll go online and look at it. Is that how you've seen it, or you been there?
I did look up, like, I was thinking of this challenge, so I looked up things in the Bay Area, and Valencourt Fountain was one of them.
Okay.
Now, we're running out of time here, so I wish you all the best with Let the World Burn. I know your fans are gonna love it. Anything you wish to say before we go?
I'll just say thanks for having me, and for all the metal fans. We want to come up there and play, and we're hoping that things open up so we can get out and about and entertain the masses. Stick with metal. It's going to be there for a long time and has already. So enjoy life and metal up your ass.
Yeah. All right, Sean, thanks for hanging me here on the Hardcore Punk Project. Stay safe, be well.
You too. Cheers.